Welcome, folks, from far and wide for battle number 2, Microsoft battle number 2. After the amazing success of the first battle, we thought we would do it again, and we are back for battle number 2.
Most of my wounds have healed.
Have healed, yeah.
Yes.
Seemingly,
not all of them.
For everyone's favorite topic, which is folders versus metadata. Now, if you were at our first battle, you remember the rules of engagement, but this is a 30-minute session. We got some feedback last time that there was too much introductions and too many slides. So I'm going to go past the introductions really quick, and we don't have that many slides. We are going to be battling, but we do have a lot of people on. So first of all, if you want to go to chat, introduce yourselves, let us know where you are joining this epic battle from, and we will get started here really quickly. So firstly, today's speakers on Team Folders, it's myself and Marc. We are referring to ourselves as Team Grumpy Old Men. Feel free to cheer or boo if you're on the side of Folders. And on Team Metadata, much smarter, much more intelligent group of folks with Joy and Julie heading up the metadata side here of the equation. Also, let us know as well which team you're on within the chat. Are you on Team Folder or on Team Metadata as well? And please, you can't be on Team It Depends. That just doesn't work anymore.
That's not how fights work.
Exactly.
Yeah,
okay.
Unfortunately.
So joining us from Orchestry, it is myself. I am the CEO and the janitor here of Orchestry, and I have Joy with me. Hello, Joy. Ready to battle?
Hello.
Huh? Let me spotlight you as well here. Hang on, I'm going to add a spotlight here for everyone. Everyone spotlit perfectly. We're Orchestry again. Yeah, you know about us. We do lots of good stuff. We do stuff with metadata and with folders as well. So there we go. Feel free to get in touch with us if you're interested. On Team Sympraxis with a very regal purple color. I've just noticed this.
Beautiful.
This is very, very regal. We have Julie and Marc. Judy and Marc, why don't you folks do some really quick intros and we'll get going.
Sure. Julie Turner, partner with Marc. Been in the SharePoint business since the 2007s. Microsoft MVP, part of the PMP team. Do a lot of co-maintaining of some open source projects. That's about all. Marc, who are you?
A lot of the same things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both consultants.
Okay, moving on.
Move on. Let's get to the battle.
All right, let's get to the battle. Sympraxis is an Orchestry partner. They seem to know what they're talking about. If you need help, reach out to them. They are great. All right, today's rules of engagement. 3 times 5-minute rounds as useful. Someone's note taker will be booted out of here very shortly as well. You know the rules. No note takers, no AI assistants. 3 5-minute rounds. You will decide, folks, the crowd who goes first. Team Folders, Marc, will go first. And again, this is supposed to be slightly more fun and enjoyable than a typical webinar. Get involved. Feel free to hackle and ask lots of questions, right? So lots of chat. The last time we did this, I think the best stuff to come out of it wasn't us, was actually people asking questions. So let us know if you have any questions. Just put them into the chat. Marc is going to be doing a lot of the work on the Team Folders side here while I man the chat. But we're ready.
Congratulations, Marc.
Congratulations, Marc. All
You're
right.
now a team of 1. Your team had already abandoned you. Joy and I win. We're done.
Well, listen, I'll be honest with you. Even with me at full flight, essentially, he was going to be a team of 1. So...
Oh, Michael.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Round 1. Pretty broad question. We have 5 minutes. All right. Round 1. What is the best approach for organizations trying to structure content in SharePoint? Team Folders, you have the floor.
Well, this is
90
obvious.
seconds.
Because we appreciate our own structure of things. We create folders inside the documents library in each SharePoint site to make ourselves happy, right? So I lots of times folders for like each year, or folders for each product, or folders for each kind of document. Those folders really mean a lot to us, and they make us much more productive because we can just navigate straight to the stuff that we need. And it also feels just like the way we used to do it on shared drives, which, I mean, why change?
When dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Are you talking about my childhood here?
I'm sorry. All right.
So what
Michael,
I
are you
would say,
ready?
just to jump in here for team folders. So I definitely think folders as well, much more intuitive for users. It also means, and I know you people know this, the good old file explorer view. And we know people are syncing those OneDrive files and syncing those libraries with millions of documents and watching OneDrive basically crush your PC, but it only works with folders. It doesn't work with metadata here. Online support sync is a little bit easier. The other thing, Mark, that we haven't talked about is permissions. We know we love to manage permissions at the folder level.
That's so great, because we can break the inheritance on any folder and share it with any group of or person in the organization, and we can manage that really, really easily because we know exactly how we've set it up, right?
Got it. The other thing
Perfect.
I put down, and I think Daryl Harms, good job here as well, I think kind of folders give that natural hierarchy of how we tend to think about information, right, Mark? We've got the top level and the second level, very hierarchical sort of views on pieces as well.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, our time is up. Let us turn it over now to.
Oh, we've clearly made all the best points, so we might as well just end the webinar now.
All right, team metadata, let us go. You have 90 seconds.
Who's going first?
Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, folders let you do things the way you think and the mental map that's in your head, but that doesn't mean that's going to match the mental map of the rest of your team members, which is going to lead to duplication and sprawl. If you want to use permissions to manage your content, you should be architecting your information architecture in such a way that it is your permission structure. You should not be poking holes in the security structure of your site by introducing granular permissions. Are there exceptions? Sure, it happens and we hate it, but it should not be the rule. What else?
I'm going to add on. I can add on to that, Joy,
Yeah.
in the sense that, sure, folders give you that organizational structure, but it's only for the place where you're working. What if you're working across teams? What if you need to pull content that is similar from across different teams or across different SharePoint sites? By using metadata, that can be your reality. And without the metadata, you don't have that search schema that you would need to sort of elevate your experience and bring content together in ways that you just have no way to do with folders.
But everybody knows where everything is because we put it in a folder.
No, they don't.
Exactly. Exactly.
And what about the
my folder?
accidentally moved it between two folders without meaning to, and now your metadata structure has absolutely no meaning.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Oh,
and
sure it
true.
does.
Also, I'm probably going to end up talking about this a lot because I'm an IA nerd. The deeper that folder structure goes, the less effective search and Copilot will be because the graph ain't going 20 folders deep. Just not.
Yep.
It's not going 10 folders deep.
Yep. Another good
So
reason.
it's something to think about.
All right. All right. End of round one, folks. Who do we think won that round? In the chat, let us know. Hashtag team folders.
I saw team metadata.
Team
I did too.
metadata.
Team metadata.
Danny.
Three
I
here
saw
as
it.
well.
We're here for you, Danny. Thank you.
Okay, there we go. All right, next one here. Okay,
Folders.
I'll go through a couple of comments here. People obviously not too happy about OneDrive sync and SharePoint document libraries. Someone doesn't like sarcasm. I don't know. You're definitely in the wrong place. Then.
I was just going to say.
I think it was a sarcastic comment, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Hakima, for team folders. Thank you there as well for supporting us. A couple of other things. So we talked about permissions. We talked about views. What else did we talk about? Alex mentioned that I feel folders are easier to create than metadata columns. I agree with you as well, Alex. And then we have a question about document sets. Document sets is Mark's kind of secret card here. So let's just wait until maybe round 3 before he starts rambling on about document sets here as well. All right.
Oh, Mark.
Let's go to round 2 here. Everyone ready?
Ready?
Seems like team metadata took out the first round here, Mark. So we got to make a comeback here.
I still think I'm right.
Well, of course.
We know you do.
Okay, number 2.
I think this is a rigged question.
What do we think is? Well, we need it to be able to win one. Okay. What
I
is
have
This is
an
a
answer
better?
for
ring
it,
for us
Julie.
to lose based on the way it's worded. I don't
What
like
is
it.
be-
I have a secret weapon screenshot for this question, Julie. Don't
Oh,
despair.
good. All
Oh,
right.
here we go. Okay, perfect. Okay,
Yeah, I
what do we
love
think
it.
is better for user adoption, folders or metadata? This time it is Team Metadata that goes first.
All right, Joey,
So
pull out your secret weapon. We need to
I
win.
know. Hopefully it'll let me paste it in. Perfect. So yeah, we're used to folders because we've been using them for 30 plus years. But those were new ones too. And
That's a good point.
that look and feel is very, very familiar and we like it. But what if I told you, yeah, it takes a little extra work to do the metadata? It does, but that doesn't mean it's not worth it. What if I told you you could put a grouped view based on your metadata that looks like a folder structure? You
There
can
you
even drag
go.
and drop. You can even drag and drop
There you
into
go.
that. So now
There
you're
you
getting
go.
that familiar look and feel. It's not sprawled out, but you're using your metadata so your architecture stays flat, your search stays relevant, Copilot stays efficient, and we can find
Yeah.
stuff.
Allie just responded, but then why not just use a folder? Because now you're getting all of those extra benefits that we
Nesting.
just talked about in
Yeah.
round one. So now you get the folders for the ease of user adoption so that they can put things in folders quickly. But hey, maybe you should consider trying to up the level of your users' education so that they feel comfortable using metadata.
Yeah.
But putting that aside, you're getting the stuff into that folder view for your user, but you're getting the benefit of the metadata because it's automatically getting assigned. I'm with you. I like it.
And again, if you keep going deep down that folder structure, search is going to be out of there. Your backup utilities probably aren't going to be working very well if they can't get through that URL link, because every time you create a new structure, you're going deeper. And for M365, you need to stay as high a level as possible. Otherwise, Copilot doesn't find things that are nested deep in folders. Just doesn't. We've run tests. So think about it, because it's a thing. It's a thing. Is it work? Yes. But the adoption will come when you show it what's in it for them.
I was just going to say, when they see, if you can show them the benefit, it's the carrot and stick mentality. If you can show them the thing that they get because they did that little extra work, it's going to become, easy peasy in the future.
Yep.
All right. Should we let the guys talk or just move on? Because we already won.
Let's just move on.
Okay.
We're
done. We won.
All right. Marc, let's take it home here and stop this blatant nonsense that's being.
This is pretty obvious, right, Michael? What we've been doing for 30 plus years is clearly the best way to go. Change isn't great. I heard Joy say something about Copilot. We're not using that. That's newfangled stuff. We want to use folders because we understand it. It's easy. It's simple. It's the way we've always done things. Metadata is hard. You got to convince people to put it in. You've got to plan for it. You've got to spend time building libraries and lists and stuff. And it's way more work than it's worth. Wouldn't you agree?
I do. Yeah, I think. Listen, no one's using metadata. All people. Let's be honest. Again, here's a question for the audience: does anyone actually use metadata only for categorization? You hear that silence? Definitely.
I know somebody who's
muted.
a pretty smart person in the community who has told me people will not put in metadata. It just doesn't happen. So.
Well, let's forget about that now, because obviously there's some AI tools that SharePoint is going to make it much, much easier and extract that metadata. But we're just going to gloss over that, Marc, so it doesn't interfere with our argument, just like any good politician would. However, what I would say is I think from a user adoption perspective, folders is definitely the way to go. But just because it's easy doesn't mean it should be done. A lot of hard things are the better things to do. And I think even though folders is that easy way of getting people to get content into SharePoint, I can't actually. I'm trying to make an argument for the other side now, which is not good at all. No, folders are easier. People understand them. No one likes change.
Yeah, you can just drag and drop stuff in from your hard drive. It's simple.
You can do that with a grouped view of metadata. Yeah. Yeah. Ew.
Okay, let's turn it over to the audience here. Yeah, it's very hard for us for me and Mark to keep a straight face here. But let's see how we go here. And by
Julie's
the way,
point's very accurate too. Not everything has to be required. And if you find that people don't fill stuff out, it might mean that they're not getting value out of it. So you might not need it for that particular thing.
yeah, and one of the things we see, Joy and Mark and Julie, I'm sure you've seen this, when people go on this metadata route, they think it's either no metadata or 17 pieces of metadata.
Yes.
You don't need that. Just start off with
I saw 200 once, and that was just that was insane.
Yeah,
but they were all required.
Yeah, of course. But just do a couple of things, right? 1 or 2 pieces of metadata, start off with that, get users used to the concept of it and prove the value through there, rather than, again, having all of these different pieces of metadata through there. And start off with simple stuff, right? Document type.
Wait, which team are you on?
I don't know. I'm just rambling here.
Document type is a content type.
Team metadata here.
Just stop. Full stop on Michael. Never ever document type. If you put document type, then that should have been content type, and you've just broken the paradigm already.
Okay, so
never document type.
So the next one of these could be around content types, because we know.
Wouldn't you you would just have a folder and you'd put all the contracts into a folder,
which is actually also a content type. Technically.
Yeah, no, we can have, and then under each folder for each customer, Mark, we can make another folder, and then underneath the customer folder we can have more folders for the status of the document as well,
or for the year. I mean,
for the year
we can very easily handle
all
the state.
Documents of a certain status regardless of the year.
You just click on the folders and you go down and you look at them.
Yeah, you just.
But it said it was by year. That's too much work. Now you're making me work.
There's nothing wrong with clicking 17 times, Joy, to get to the document that you want. Why would I want to find that?
Michael.
Why would I want to find that really quickly using metadata on a view, giving me all this time back? Doesn't make any sense here at all. Okay, folks, in the chat here, there's a lot of chat here. Hang on, let me try to go through and see what's going on.
I'm having a really hard time because I'm just answering things in the chat and I'm not multitasking.
Bit of comment from Ian. Users on legal teams are good at entering metadata. That is actually a good point. There is some we find industries which are very good at entering metadata.
HR
legal
isn't bad
is
either.
One of them. HR is a good one as well.
HR.
Hang on, I'm going to go through these as well. Question for later. We'll do the question for later. Thank you.
Hi, Ruth. Yay.
Hang on. This is okay. Let's see. Or someone, Athena said, not my previous law firm. So there we go. There's a battle going on within here as well. Oh, question from Daryl for Team Metadata, since we're also high and mighty on metadata at the moment. What happens when your complex metadata views, Joy and Julie, start hitting 5,000 items in views?
Yeah. You're going to get that in folders too. You're going to get that in folders too. Because what if I told you that the name of that folder is metadata? So if you're getting 5,000 items for a metadata tag, you're probably also going to get that inside of a folder with that same name. So you
just named a folder metadata. I think we just went into Inception here.
Well, it is metadata.
I don't.
Okay, so I think round 2, if we do a bit of a synopsis here before we go into round 3, easier
folders.
Easier for folders. However, maybe the long-term effects might not be what you want, especially from a scalability and information architecture perspective as well. Okay, folks, let's go to round 3. I think obvious win for team folders here. So let's keep going here. So it all comes down to round 3 here as well. So round 3, well, I think we've covered a lot of these, but we'll move on to audience questions. What limitations exist for each option? It's now time to take the opposite path. What are some of those limitations that we are finding with each option? Team folders. Why don't we go first, Mark?
Well, I got to admit, when we have a lot of nested folders, the URL gets really, really long, or we run into problems when we're syncing. So, you have to be a little careful. You have to make sure you don't have 15 or 20 folder layers, but obviously 10 or 15 are fine. You do run into that 5,000 item limit, but you don't, because that 5,000 item limit is per view. And so as long as you don't have 5,000 items, more than 5,000 items in any folder, you can work in that folder just fine. 5,000 items, no big deal. What other limitations exist for folders?
I think the biggest one that
am I playing the wrong side?
No. The biggest one that we see
going.
on the folder one in particular. So one of them is the URL limitations, particularly for syncing, right? That's a huge issue for OneDrive. We see people have issues with that all of the time because they run out of pieces there as well. Naming, I think Daryl just mentioned. Naming's another one that can get a little bit interesting, especially if you have the same named folders in different levels of the hierarchy. That can be a little bit more difficult. The other big thing as well, I think the main issue and the main limitations is if you keep structuring your SharePoint sites just like a file share, people think they're just using a file share, and they're not. They're using a completely different tool, even though it stores files in there. So they don't try to look at anything else like metadata or maybe flows or workflows or any of that type of stuff as well through there. But Marc, it's time for you to talk about your favorite thing in the world.
Oh, well.
Talk about documents.
The hybrid.
Well, they are folders, but they're folders with special superpowers. So I don't think that's really a very good argument for folders.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a good argument for metadata. So it's evil.
Okay, well we'll go back to this as well. Okay,
yeah.
Julie and Joy, talk about some of the limitations on metadata that we have.
I mean, I think people have been bringing it up. It's a little bit trickier to create them. So, create a metadata structure. I might argue that if you don't care about searchability, as far as like creating search scenarios, creating a metadata in a field is as easy as it is creating a new column in a Excel spreadsheet. I mean, you just click the modern UI, you just click the button on the far right and say, oh, I want a new column, and it's called this. I think where metadata gets more tricky is when you're talking about content types at like the content type hub level, and you're trying to think about your distributed content type. And yeah, that's trickier, but that doesn't mean you have to do that for every list or library that you have in your entire tenant. I think one of the things we're seeing too in the comments that's coming up is around so many items in a list or a library. And I would argue that if you've got that many items in that list or library, there is maybe a consideration that you should be considering splitting that content up. Like we see this a lot where we'll have people come in and they'll have one site and it's their projects site, and they'll have that nested folder structure, projects A through F, projects, G through whatever. And then they'll have a folder for each project inside of that. And of course, that has nested folders inside of that. And certainly in that structure, if you move from folders to metadata, that's going to be a lot of content, and being able to filter and create views on that is going to be really tricky. At that point, I think you need to take that bigger step back and go, should maybe each one of these projects be its own site? And then you're not looking at that much content in any one list or library. So that's what I would say about that.
Yeah, 100%. There is, as mentioned again, the 5,000 item per view. So that does mean you can have more than that in the library. You just chunk it up by view. That limitation exists for folders too, because you don't want to have 7,000, 5,003 items in a folder either. Plus, who wants to be the person that has to sort through all those items in one view or folder? Not me. There is a maximum number of views you can see in the view dropdown, something to consider, but creating a navigation for that where those views are called out, because every view has its own URL, can help make that a much easier process for your users anyway. Give them the link to the view they need the most, and then they have options to kind of sort through that. Column perspective, You can have a crap ton of columns. And yes, that's a technical term. Like you could have more than 1,000 yes/no columns in one list or library. Should you? Probably not. Like several hundred text columns, I think. So you really won't run into the limit. But what's usable? What will be the most searchable and findable way to organize your information? As Julie said, what's going to be a logical way to create that information architecture instead of dumping everything into the same library or the same site? Security first, ease of use second. What else is it going to say? Yeah, and the Microsoft world is flat. I'm not a flat earther, but I am a flat architecturer. So the flatter you can keep your sites, your lists, your libraries, the better it's going to be search, Copilot, and just sanity.
In terms of the view thing, our good friend Colonel GPT here is trying to wonder how many views we have. So there's an unlimited number of views you could actually have per library, but the dropdown only shows 50. So unless you're going to give people direct access to those views, essentially, it's not going to be
Which you
much
probably
help here.
should, because like if you have a particular team that's working on these projects, okay, easy button, link, 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 click, 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 in, out, done.
Okay, perfect. Okay, couple more minutes here. Question for the panel, Georgina. Thank you. 1 second here. Sorry, the chat's giving. I think that the way to add metadata is only through SharePoint after creating the file or by going to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or am I missing a trick here? I don't.
I answered that later.
I just answered too.
Okay.
Oh, well, there we go.
Well, please talk about your answer.
Basically, the answer is she's not missing anything. It's essentially like you have to you have to put the metadata in either the Office client through the panel if you're using the desktop client, or you have to put it in SharePoint. I don't see Windows Explorer view getting the ability to add metadata anytime soon. So unless you're talking about a customization, I don't know of any other way to add metadata after the fact.
Perfect. Okay, bonus round question. This is a great one. Silas, what is your favorite type of metadata? I like this question.
Oh.
See, there's my favorite type for the UI, and then there's that is the exact opposite answer for coding.
Well, don't worry about the coding one. Let's just go with the UI one here.
That's my bread and butter. So setting managed metadata columns, which is probably my favorite, is really hard in code. Well, significantly harder in code, but it's probably the most flexible of all of the column types. Location's pretty cool, though. If you haven't used location's pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
And managed metadata will give you consistent metadata across your organization. That can be very powerful. If you've not looked into it, please, please, please do. And you can have people manage different sections of the term store in SharePoint, so it's not all on your shoulders. So yes, please look at it. And then look at creating groups for your views. Game changer. Game changer.
Marc, favorite metadata?
I've got to step out of my folder act here and say manage metadata for sure. And it used to be one of my least favorite types back in the old days, because back then it was lookup columns, because you could have a list, look up in it, have many different columns there and look up different stuff. But now that we've got a flat architecture, managed metadata is definitely one of the most powerful things, because we can be consistent across all of the sites in our tenant or any subset we want to use.
I read this a little bit differently. I thought it was like an example. My favorite one is having a document status column.
Oh, I see where you're going.
Term.
So I read this a little bit different.
You mean document type?
No. A document status. A document status with managed metadata, I think, is really, really useful. And again, combination of folders and that, super useful. You're using folders like me and Marc have all convinced you to do to structure that content. Maybe throw a sprinkle of a column or two in there, Marc, just like a fine stew. And then you can use that document status column to create a view that groups all of the documents by status, regardless of how deep they are within that folder structure. So we find that can be really, really useful. All right, folks, we're out of time. Again, that was quick. What did everyone think of battle number 2? Before we go, who won? Team folder or team metadata? Team folder.
Metadata. Hey, I never metadata I didn't like.
Greg's got the right answer. It depends.
Ugh.
You've said that 3 times now.
And sorry, I totally forgot, Georgina, to put a poll on this one as well, because this one's really good. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Hopefully that was fun. 30 minutes again.
And
very,
please
very
send your
quick.
suggestions for the next battle. It could be content types. It could be something else.
Yep, we've done the battle around AI. We've done the battle around folders as well. Let us know what the next battle could be, and we will definitely consider it as well. These are a lot of fun here. So again, we'll make it happen again. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you, Marc. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Joy. Have a wonderful day.
Thank
Till
you,
the next
everybody.
battle. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.